Okay. Um, Everything should be ready to go. Um, just going to check my Chanel. Come it's saying, hold on, y'all. Hello. Hold on, y'all. Okay, so it's definitely working. All right, so we are here, and we are going to be doing the Tool albums, or sorry, the Tool songs tier list, the entire discography, and I'm gonna go in depth on what we got going on here. Just wanted to make sure that we're good here. Okay, so I went ahead and actually put all of these in chronological order, uh, so that there's no confusion. When I first loaded this one up, it was all over the place. So I put them in order. I think I'm gonna change these tiers up a little bit. Um, I don't want, actually, this might be okay. This might be okay. No, no, we're getting rid of this one. Okay, yeah, yeah. All right, we're looking good here. This works. So, Tool, that you're gonna hear a lot of glazing in this stream video, whatever. Um, about this band because they are my favorite band. I have been a fan for the better part of 6 years. Um, the first song I remember hearing by them, I was young, but it was Sober, and I just remember hearing it on the radio, and I was like, oh yeah, that's really good. That was my introduction to them, and I would hear them on the radio every now and then. I think I had heard 46 and 2, and I had heard H. Oh, and Stinkfist. I had heard those songs prior to really getting into them. But what really got me into them was two things. First off, my dad, who is a huge Tool fan, um, he really got me into them when the new album, Fear Inoculum, came out. This album down here. When it came out, he had me listen to it, and I was just instantly blown away. I had never heard anything like it. The what I would come to know as like the signature Tool sound, the crazy time signatures, the drop D tuning, the crazy drumming, the psychedelic themes and stuff, and yeah, I just remember it was late 2019. The album came out on August 30th, 2019, 5 years ago, which is just crazy. And I just remember that that sort of time period between uh, November and COVID, November of 2019 and COVID, that hit was kind of tough on me, and especially the when the lockdown hit because we had just moved in November, and so I basically just had music kind of for a little bit there until things started to get normal again, and I picked up drumming. Uh, I really dove deep into music. I mean, Tool like changed my like path. It had such an influence on me. These guys had such an influence on me that it basically changed my life. I mean, I got into drumming because of Danny Carey, the drummer. I've been a big part of percussion has been a huge part of my life now of the last few years. And music has just been like the overriding sort of joy and comfort of my life. Whenever I'm upset or whenever I'm mad or whenever I'm alone and bored, I listen to music. I put on a set of headphones. And also Tool really started like me branching out into different genres of music. I mean, I was never really a huge metal guy until I listened to them, and then I started listening to Pantera and Iron Maiden and all these guys. I mean, Gojira, Mastodon, and then I started getting into like the really heavy stuff like Meshuggah and Opeth, Death, um, and you know, and then into the more, I guess, poppy type stuff like Muse, Radiohead, uh, Paramore, punky type stuff, The Police. I mean, yeah, it was like a revolution in not only my music taste, but like my life. I literally made music a part of my life, which it still is. So, yeah, like this band means a lot to me. And I got to see them for the first time live earlier this year in January when they came to Baltimore. So, my dad got me and him tickets for Christmas that year, and we went and saw them, and it was like insane. It was so good. Like, if you have not seen these guys live, I don't know what you're doing. They've been around forever. Haven't released that much music, which is kind of crazy how much their music means to people. They haven't put out that much music, if we're being honest. They only have 5 albums plus an EP plus a single over the span of 30 years. I mean, the Opiate was released in 92, and the most recent thing was 2022. So that's 30 years. And I know that they also released like a couple demos before this one in like 91. But the band has really been active for more than 30 years. And they only have like really this much music and plus like a live album in between these two and then like the demo as I said. But man, I mean their music it's revolutionary. There's a reason that they're super duper popular because it's just you can never ever go wrong with their music. It's insane how good these guys are. I mean, Danny Carey is regarded as one of the greatest drummers ever, and that's meaning something. And Maynard is regarded as one of the best vocalists slash singers ever. Like, there's these guys are no joke. So, yeah, if I haven't said it enough how much I like this band, you guys are gonna find out because I am going to go in depth on this catalog. I'm gonna try and not make it too long. I mean, I've already made the stream uh, like 10 minutes, but yeah, we're gonna get into this now. I'm just gonna kind of go through the tracks. I might pull up Spotify here. We might listen to a couple of things. I don't know. Probably not, but I'll make sure to like have everything linked, their Spotify, their YouTube, everything. So yeah, all right, let's get into this. I don't think, am I gonna have any F's here? Should I do this based on um them as songs in general, or should I do them based on just Tool songs? So you have like an S tier Tool song and an F tier Tool song. Actually, all right, what I'll do, I'm gonna change this to interludes. The reason I say that is because they actually have some like legit songs and song structure type songs. And then they have the ones that are like in between that are like a minute long, 2 minutes long, stuff like that. And I'm gonna try and go in depth on everything, but I think most of those interludes, the short stuff, is gonna go down there. Unless it's like a super standout thing. I don't know. I'll change it as I go. So hold on everybody. Technical difficulties. Just want to make sure it's all good before I start talking. Alright. Okay, so let's do this. So I know it's kind of hard to see because it's red lettering, but this is the 1992 EP called Opiate, and yeah, it was the first thing they released. And actually, these two songs right here are live cuts, and there's not an official released by the band version, like studio version of these songs. So this is what we have to work with. Like that's on Spotify and stuff. And I really wish that I could also rank the Salvo live album because it is amazing, but I'm just gonna do their like official stuff. Uh, Alright, so first off we have Sweat. And Sweat is it's a pretty short song. It's only like 3 minutes, but it packs a lot in, and it really kind of it says what this this little project is going to be about. It's very high intensity, raw, almost thrash sound. Um, and I think it's really great. And for some of these, for some of these, I am going to like go in depth on the lyrics, but like some of them I'm not really going to because it's basically just like sweat, blood, tears, and angry, which is kind of like what this album is, a little bit. Uh, but yeah, it's a pretty fine Tool song. I think in the epsilon of the discography, I think I'm gonna move this down to C, but it's still really good. If I'm putting a Tool song in C tier, like my standards and stuff like that. So yeah, we're chilling. I mean, the song's not bad at all. You're not going to hear me be very critical about much of anything in this entire discography. Okay, so then we have uh, Hush, which is like a 2 minute song, but man, it packs so much into such a short time that these two are great. Okay, these two are actually like pretty good. And then we have Part of Me, which is a little bit longer. Again, these are all like generally like similar song structure up until the last one, which I'll talk about. But I think Part of Me is like kind of a staple that they did a live version of this on the Salvo live album, and it's really really good, super super heavy. And then I think Cold and Ugly, and I think Cold and Ugly's kind of just mid. It's kind of like that song in the album that's like between two hits. Like it's okay. But then we have Jerk Off, and Jerk Off's amazing. It's actually kind of funny because in the live recording you actually have Maynard like yelling at somebody to like get out of like the club that we're performing at or whatever. I don't actually know the details of like their live recording, of like the live recording of this, like where it took place, or stuff like that. But yeah, it's kind of funny. It's kind of a cool moment. And then you have Opiate. And this is a very, very interesting song because it's like 8 minutes long, and it's definitely the most proggy sort of sound. It actually sounds pretty similar to like Soundgarden, Alice in Chains. It's a little bit grungy, and I kind of like it. It's different. Um, and it has this like two or no, it's like a 45-second little pause inside the piece where it's completely silent. It's actually kind of interesting. But yeah, it's obviously the theme is about the drug. So this is 1991 Los Angeles. So or 1992 Los Angeles. So like yeah, of course there's going to be a song about drugs. Um, I think I'm gonna move this around actually. I think in the No, this actually feels fine. This is fine. Yeah, this is fine. But yeah, this whole album is very raw sounding. Obviously, it has two live recordings, so it's not the best um, quality, but it's super raw, super high energy, super mean, and angry, and tough, and you kind of have to go into it like that. So next up, we have the album um, Undertow, released in 1993, and yeah, let's get into this. This is their first LP, first full-length album, and man, is it good. It's very raw and powerful, like Opiate, but it's just expanded like tenfold. Just song structure and song quality, and the hooks are super duper strong, super duper catchy song. I mean, it's just this album's got a fire lit under it. It's so good. And it's actually, my dad told me it was the second ever album that he bought or I think it was the first ever album he bought with his own money. Just crazy. Yeah, so this album, funny enough, I didn't listen to it the whole way through until the lockdown happened. I think it was like April of 2020 when I actually listened to this one. It was the last one that I listened to, weird enough. I was like, hey, let me check out the first thing they released, and then all the other stuff. It was like, what? I somehow skipped over this masterpiece. So yeah. Alright, Intolerance. They played this live when we went to go see them. So I think it is amazing. It actually has like a really, really cool ending. It's a pretty short song. It's like 4 minutes. Most of the songs on here is like pretty normal length. But but I think Beast is good there. It's a fun song. Really, really fun. High energy, not too complex. You could show this to someone who's never listened to it before and they'll like, think they'll love it. So, alright, Prison Sex. This one is a banger. Oh my goodness, is this a banger? It's got that southern drawl sort of guitar. It's really groovy. It's really bluegrassy. Very, man, it's just country and hard rock. It's such a crazy song. Like it you would you would think like first listen, you'd be like, the heck is this? This doesn't fit into a Tool album, but it's insanely catchy. I come back to this one all the time. Probably the most of any song on this album. That's how good it is. And there's actually a music video for it that they've had on MTV. It's like really, really gruesome and crazy. I mean, yeah, you can imagine like the lyrics that are associated with this title. The kind of the theme with like this one was like lie, cheat, and steal. I cannot tolerate you. So yeah, it's like he's done with all the BS. And this one it's like, oh wow, it's like this is what I'm gonna do to you in prison. It's like it's such a crazy turn of events. I love it. It's so intense. And then you have Sober, like what? Like yeah, Sober is like their biggest hit. Like, and I don't think it'll ever be topped. Has their most listens on Spotify, I think. It's either that or Schism, but it's just extremely popular. I mean, it's got that amazing drum intro, and then it's just got the groovy verse. Man, it's so good. And the actual musicianship of the song is a lot more complex than it sounds. If you're just a music enjoyer instead of like an avid like, oh, I gotta pay attention to the drums, oh, I gotta pay attention to guitar and bass. If you're not listening for that kind of stuff, you're gonna be like, oh man, this thing is just, it's moving, it's like sexy. It's just, it's so good. And even as a musician and like listening to this, it's just like it got that like stink face. And if you like disregard the fact that it's like a hit and you actually look at it as and think of it as like it wasn't a hit, just man, there's a reason that songs become hits. It's because they are like the perfect songwriting. So yeah. And then we have Bottom. And this one is interesting. It's a bit longer. It's like 6 or 7 minutes. And it's got like really good song structure for that length. It has Henry Rollins, who's like a famous like critic slash he's a face in the like music production industry. He's got some pretty wild takes too, but anyway, he's got a little cameo in this song. There's a lot of there's a very dynamically various like there's so much variety and dynamics on this song. It's really really good. It's not something for like the average listener. It's a little bit tougher to like really sink into, but it's amazing. It's really, really good. I think A is a good place for it. Is it's one of my more favorites. This album. And then Crawl Away. I'm actually gonna put Crawl Away and Swamp Song both in C. They are super duper groovy. But they are they're the ones that are kind of like, oh, okay, like they're there. You know what I mean? But they are super, super energetic and super, super hard hitting. Especially Swamp Song. I mean, it just builds out through the Actually, I think I'm gonna move it up to B. It's just that intense. Both of these songs, I mean, they're pretty similar. This one's a little shorter, but oh man, they are just so much intensity. And just if I had to describe their song structure, it's like just your standard verse chorus, bridge chorus type thing, but they nail it. Heavy distorted guitars, man. It's crazy how heavy they are for how heavy Adam Jones is for being the only guitarist. It's just such a massive sound. And then we have Undertow. I'm not a huge fan of this song. I actually think it's the worst one on the album besides uh, this one down here. But there's like a reason for it. This one I'm not a big fan of like the song structure of it. Like it's okay, but it's for being the title track of the album, it's a little bit underwhelming. It's actually one of the few songs that like I almost dislike. And that's kind of unfortunate. It's the song that I skip. Um, but it's fine, you know. There's nothing particularly wrong with it. It's just not mine. Nothing really nothing hits me like things any other songs do. Like there's nothing really memorable about it. So I'm gonna give it the D tier treatment for this list. If this was a list of like every song in the universe, it'd be an S tier. Alright, 4 Degrees. This was the first song that I listened to that wasn't sober. And it's got a really cool like acoustic, like Arabic sitar almost intro. And then I think it's about global warming. I want to say that's like the theme of this song, but yeah. Or it's about like torture. I don't know. It's like that's kind of the whole theme of this album is like torture. Um, but yeah, this one again is super super hard rock sound. I love it. All right, Flood. This one is, I think, the polarizing song on the album. It's the most polarizing, I should say. It is. It's got an intro that lasts more than half the song, and then once it hits, it hits, and it hits like Swamp Song, but better than Swamp Song. Yeah, it's got a double bass ending. It's in a weird time signature. It's in like 13/8. Da 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 da. It's like, and it actually makes you like actually headbang to it. It's crazy. It's crazy what these guys can do, man. Oh my goodness. You gotta like listen to the songs. I'm not gonna describe them good enough. I'm not doing them justice. All right. Discuss debated. I'm actually tempted to just put it in interludes to end off the album. It's just a very, very weird song. It's like 13 minutes or like 15. I think it's actually the longest song like that they've officially released, but it's like not even a song. Like sure, it has a cool intro, and if they actually just kept going with it, built it up, had some cool sections, it would have been an amazing song. But they stopped it and they did this like really creepy like phone call sort of muffled vocals. It's really, really creepy. And don't give me and like yeah, it's cool, like a cool aesthetic and stuff, but it's not really all that good. And I skip it every single time until it gets to the like the intro's really good. And I think they actually have a shotgun sound that they recorded, which is awesome. And they're like banging on a piano. Um, but doesn't really do it for me just because like it has 6 minutes of silence and then it has the and then it has the like the creepy vocals at the end, but doesn't really take away from the whole album experience. It's fine, but not really something that I listen to. Then we get this monster, fills up an entire row here. This is Anima, released in 1996. And the overall theme about this album is you don't mess with them. You don't mess with Tool. And that there are stupid people in the world, and people in power suck, and the way to get away from that is to do psychedelic substances. So, in order to get away from grief and stuff, you turn to this other stuff that's not like bad substances. So, Stinkfist, the best way you could have possibly opened this album. Just saying. Absolutely amazing. It's a hit for a reason. Again, it starts with like it's building up. The lyrics build up. Right? It's basically you're starting to become a puppet, finger deep within the borderline, and then knuckle deep within the borderline, and then elbow deep. So yeah, but super super good. They always play this one live, and they did play this one live um, to end the show. And I think that's like a thing that they do on their newer tours. They end the concert with Stinkfist, and it's a good way to end it because it's an amazing song. Pretty short, like 5 minutes, but it packs a lot into it. Eulogy, mm, 8 minutes long, has a percussive, sort of syncopated intro, and then the drums come in. I want to say then the vocals, and then it just builds up into the chorus. He had a lot to say. He had a lot of nothing to say. Yeah, my singing skills are on point. Um, so this one, the theme is basically like he had a lot of nothing to say, or he had a lot to say. He had a lot of nothing to say. We'll miss him. And he's talking about someone who died that he doesn't really care about. So he's being legit. Like he's not holding back. He's telling you how he feels about this guy. And that's kind of the whole underlying theme of this album is that like he they dislike a lot of people and they're gonna have things coming for them, um, which then translates into the next album, which we'll talk about. But anyway, We have H, which I actually don't really know the theme behind this song. I want to say it's just about like growing up, but it's another like big hit of theirs that they always play on radio and stuff. I personally not the biggest fan of it, but it is really good. It's got a lot of like psychedelic type of syncopated percussion. It's kind of like Caribbean influence. It's kind of cool. And this was kind of the beginning, Eulogy included, was kind of the beginning of Danny Carey's expanse into the psychedelic type stuff. Whoa, y'all see that? That was weird. Maybe you didn't see it, but like a window just popped up and went away. Alright. Useful Idiot is exactly how it sounds, and this is the first interlude of this album. Yes, this album has 15 tracks, but it also has like 7 interludes that are like in between bigger tracks. Alright. And this one leads into one of their best songs ever, 46-2. And once I'm done with this, by the way, I'm gonna order these tiers. But for now, I'm just gonna do it so that it stretches, or I guess stretches that way. Um, 46-2. It's in 7/8 and 8/8, which is 4/4. It has like the best song structure of any of their songs, like period. It has a drum solo, but it's extremely, extremely heavy. The distorted guitars sound absolutely amazing. And man, it's just so much power, so much energy on this is I cannot again, I cannot give this song its flowers enough. There's actually the O'Keefe Foundation, which is like a bunch of kids played this song, and funny enough, that's like the recording that got me into this song was hearing those kids play it, like 10, 11 years old, like playing this song. The drummer was like maybe like 13, 14 years old, playing this song like flawless. It was just so inspiring, and and that was around the time that I started drumming. So when I first heard it, man, it was just. Mm. I mean, I had heard the normal recording for years before that. Man, hearing that other one just made me like want to play that song and want to be a part of that like musician atmosphere and life and hobby. So this song means a lot to not only me as like as a song, but also as like an evolution in my hobby and my life. This song means a lot to me. So to put it simply, all right. Message to Harry Manback. It's another interlude. It's like a minute long, and this one, funny enough, I read the backstory of it. It's about an old bandmate of theirs that sent like a creepy call, got kicked out of the band, sent a creepy call, and they converted it to a song and put piano behind it, and that's the song. Like it's really simple and really stupid and funny, and I love it. But again, it is just an interlude, like to go into the next song, so it's not really fair to compare it to these other ones. Hooker with a Penis is insane. I love it so much. I'm actually gonna put it up here. Dude, this song is so crazy. It's set in 4/4 the entire time, but just like energy through the roof. This one is so good, and I love the lyrics to it also. It's like I met a boy wearing Vans, 501s, head to toe Beastie Tee, nipple ring, and tattoos, I think. Claimed that he was OGT back in '92 on the first EP, and in between sips of Coke, he told me that he thought we were selling out. It was basically about a stupid fan that thinks he knows everything. And so Maynard, the singer, is like, no, you don't. Just stop. You're making a fool out of yourself. He's calling him like a hooker. He's like stupid. You know what I mean? Really kind of simple uh, meaning behind the song, but man, it hits. Intermission. This song is so funny because it's like elevator music, and it's the same riff as you hear on Jimmy, but it's so funny to come in between this song and this song. It's just you have to hear it. Like again, I'm gonna say it over and over. I'm not doing it justice. You have to listen to this album. But I feel like I can give a decent synopsis of each song before you listen to it. Jimmy, another really good song. I believe it's about someone who died. Again, the lyrics are kind of messy with me. I've only recently started to like really dive into the lyrics, but really, really cool song structure. It's actually kind of like mellow and almost like what is it, like black metal? It's like a really, really like kind of feeling. And I think it's that like psychedelic kind of energy, um, where it's just very woozy and very drunk kind of feeling. It's really, really, it's really well done. Die, Die Ihr von Satan. This is another interlude, but it's actually a really good interlude because it's spoken in German. It has sort of like a Rammstein sort of industrial metal sound, and it's supposed to resemble like a Hitler speech. I'm already demonetized, so you can't do nothing to me, YouTube. But it's supposed to resemble like a Hitler speech with this like really heavy industrial sound behind it. But I actually looked into the lyrics and it translates to like a cake recipe, which is like the funniest thing in the world, especially like the first time I found that out. And if you go onto the YouTube, someone has the whole thing translated in the comments. It is like the funniest thing ever. Like listening to it now, I love it. It's so good. And it's also just really funny. It's so outlandish and I love it. All right. Push it. Another another S tier. Just gonna check the stream. We chilling? Oh yeah. 44 minutes. All right. Do I have any chats? No chats. All right. Push it. This song is a journey. It's like 9 minutes long, and It is kind of like a precursor to Third Eye, as we will see down here. Trying to think of the lyrics. Oh god, this one's another one that's kind of fuzzy for me in terms of lyrics. So the biggest takeaway from this song though is the song structure. It's got a really fuzzy guitar sound. The drums are amazing. But the standout part of this song is like the middle, like 3 minute sort of um, thing that they have that's very, very laid back. It's almost like jungle vibes. It's kind of the same thing that they do on Jimmy. Um, very laid back, a lot of kind of like African percussion going on. It's a big change from, you know, the every single track that you have on Undertow. But yeah, you gotta listen to this one. It is absolutely amazing. And they actually have a live version of it you can find on YouTube. It's from the Salable album. And it is just, it blows you away. It's like, it's amazing. Alright. Cesaro or Cicero, Some Ability. I looked at this one. Cesaro's Some Ability is like some mathematical constant or something. It has to do with the limit of a function and it approaches infinity. So, something like that. I don't know. I'm not a big math person, but I am taking calculus for the third time. So, this one's like a minute long. It's actually kind of cool. Um, but we're getting into like the end of the album where things start to get legit. Well, I mean, it was legit from the beginning, but it's starting to really like amp up your like mental. It's starting to get real like crazy. Especially like when you listen to this thing with headphones, it's a trip, man. Hmm. Right. So yeah, it's basically just like sound wavelengths that just go like up and down, and it's just really, really up, like in your face. Yeah. Anima, ooh, best lyrics in a Tool song, hands down. You can't fight me on that. Best lyrics in a Tool song. It's about Mother Nature taking over, and you got to learn to swim because there's going to be a an asteroid that hits LA. It is the best thing ever. Best freaking lyrics possible. Like it's yeah. And it's a really cool song structure too. It's got a lot of polyrhythms, a lot of cool drumming. Hmm. And this one's actually got this really cool passage where Danny Carey is playing double bass, but they're sextuplets, which is like da 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 da. Or like not non-tuplets. It's like nine. Which is like really heavy on top of Maynard, who's like doing like whisper vocals. And it's really, really cool. Such a cool touch. Um, but yeah, definitely the best. Mm, I can't say it. I can't say it's the best title track, but it's dang close. All right, ions, negative ions. Sorry, negative ions. So this one I looked up. Negative ions are good for your health, and positive ions are not good for your health. And positive ions are what kills people. This is basically my takeaway from this, from doing a little bit of simple research. Simple research as in bad research. There's probably some underlying thing that I don't know. But it's got like mosquito sounds, it's got like thunder and lightning and electricity, and it's a build up going into Third Eye, which is S tier. 10 plus minutes long. It features a Bill Hicks soundbite where he's talking about all of the musicians that changed their life throughout the years, um, did a lot of drugs. And I think he's specifically talking about like the 70s musicians, like the Stones and the the Clash and Jimi Hendrix and Zeppelin and all them who made amazing music. Late Beatles. They made amazing music, but they were under the influence. Um, that this is basically just this song is Tool, if you really think about it. It's really just an expanse into that world, and it's it's, it's a journey, like it's a psychedelic journey without actually taking the substance. Yeah, this song is crazy. So many different moving passages. Um, insane build up. The drumming is like borderline the best on any song of theirs. Man, mm, so good. Such a good way to close the album. So now we get into Lateralis, 2001. This album is freaking crazy. We just keep stepping it up, stepping it up. Oh man. And to start with The Grudge, dude. Oh man, this is one of the heaviest songs they ever made. This album, this whole album is very heavy. Very, 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 very heavy. I mean, this one is too, but it's more like electronica heavy. This one's just like heavy metal heavy. This song is such a trip. This song actually features that famous scream that Maynard does. It's like 30 seconds long. Can't beat it, man. This song is just crazy. Hmm. Eon Blue Apocalypse. I think this takes the cake for being their best interlude. It's literally just clean guitar, and then the patient begins with a clean guitar. And this one's a little bit different than The Grudge. The Grudge begins right up in your face. The patient is like a slow build up, and they're meant to be listened like back to back, like The Grudge and the Blue Apocalypse and Patient. So it is kind of like a journey. It's meant to be listened to in order like that, because they do start and end like with the same thing. So so they're both in like 5/8 kind of. They might be a little bit hard to follow, but I think like if you first listen to this album and you're like, oh my gosh, this song was really crazy, just blew me back like this. Your hair is like all standing up like that, and then this is a little break in the energy, and then this is a little build up in the energy, and it gets you back to normal. I think it's just perfectly executed. Then you have Mantra, which is another interlude. And this one, I actually didn't look up before doing this. Um, but I know Mantra has to do with like the soul, and it's like a psychedelic thing that has to do with your soul. And if you have mantra or you have nirvana, you have peace, and you have tranquility, and you everything, you have synthesis, like you have, yeah, peace. Like, um, it's a way to say like the patient is a synthesis. It's the anti-strophe to the grudge's strophe. So this is the synthesis between the two, between like chaos and order. So then you got schism, which is like the popular one that people play drums on, including me. Really, really fun song to play on drums. Not that hard, but it is a very complex song. Um, Lots of time signature changes, and it basically is like about a divide between people that kind of believe in like the psychedelic world, and the people who think you're crazy. You chilling? Shoot. Okay, you're right. I think you convinced me. I do think Rosetta Stone might be the best lyrics. But we'll get to that. Schism, yeah, Schism's amazing. I want to try and speed this up because I just realized I've been doing this for almost an hour. All right. Parabol has to do with math. And if you know the shape, the parabola, it is a shape that comes down and goes back up, or the other way around. It goes up and comes back down. But anyway, you get back to the same point. And I understand that it's cool and it's a cool like mathematical thing, but I don't really understand the whole why it's named that. I understand that it's like a one track followed by the other, but I'm not quite sure the connection in the lyrics. Again, I have to look at the lyrics for these two, and they actually have a music video. It's really, really creepy, but yeah. I might post like a community thing about this song. I might even do a whole video on this. But it's like two songs that are one Parabol plus Parabola. And Parabol is like it's got an Indian sort of Bombay-ish like tinge to it. Like the vocals are really cool. There's no drums, it's just a little bit of distortion on the guitar, buzz, and then the vocals, that's it. But man, Maynard is such a good vocalist. I mean, it literally his voice is an instrument. Like such a good, so versatile, man. Like he can do like the screams, um, and he can do like the really harsh stuff, just hitting a bunch of things in a row, and then he can do like vocal lines. Like man, he's so versatile, man. And then it builds up into parabola. It does like a then it's parabola, and this song is just insane, man. So much energy throughout the entire song. More than like The Grudge. This song is like the heaviest, just all the way through the whole thing of any on this album. So, Six and Leeches, Hmm, man, this one's tough. I think it's a bit overrated, but I still think it's really good. I think they did this style better with Tempest, and you'll see what I mean. It has a very, very just driving intro with the drums and stuff. Uh, it's all in 4/4 time. No, wait, no. Six and Leeches is in 7/8, and then it switches to 4/4 for the verse, I think. Whereas it's very, very heavy. Um, like very driven drums. It's a different kind of sound. It's got that psychedelic drive to it. It's different, but I feel like it was done a little bit better with some of these previous tracks. I'm just not a big. This one doesn't grab me like The Grudge does, or even like Stinkfist. Like I don't know, not a huge fan of it. So yeah, I don't even need to even talk about this one. I mean, it's got the whole Fibonacci sequence thing where the lyrics are in like 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, which is like the Fibonacci sequence, and then the actual time signatures are in 9, 8, 7, which is a prime number, which is like I don't know if that was on purpose or unintentional and just people find it as a coincidence. I don't know. But but yeah, the song is absolutely nuts. Top five, if not top three, Tool songs. It's 9 minutes long. So many time signature changes. So many like sections. It's like it's basically a perfect song. Just absolutely insane. Disposition, y'all. I feel good putting it there. No, no, let's move these all up. Disposition, that feels fine. Disposition is actually pretty similar to Parabol. It's you got like a fuzz guitar, clean vocals. But it's got like a really, really soft bass and drum sound, and it's so good. It's kind of like the patient, how the patient kind of reloads your energy from the grudge. It's like, oh, we're kind of in this new area. That's what this is for Laterals. It starts this brand new chapter almost. And it's actually like it's a three-part series with Reflection and Triad. I'm actually gonna put them all here. Reflection is like I think the ultimate sort of psychedelic track of this album. Lateralis is like the mathy, like brain active song, but this one's the most like that sort of feeling compared to this one, which is like brain exploding. This like brains. Has a really long intro. It's actually the longest track on the album. It's 12 minutes long. This one's only 4 minutes. It's 12 minutes long. Has like a 4 minute intro, and then it has just a slow build up for basically the entire song. And it's super groovy. It's in 4/4. It never really, I wouldn't say it doesn't hit a climax, but the climax of it is very like low key. It's just such a good list. I don't think it quite pays off, which is why I put it in B, but mm, so good. Not the Jolly Rancher, but the song. And then we get Triad, which is a instrumental, has a cool build up, and then it just hits you right in the face, man. Mm. And it's actually a really cool like semi outro before we get to the last track. But I think this one fits perfectly in B, just because it's not the like actual intro. If it was the actual intro, I think I'd put it up here in A. But where it's at, I think is just fine. You have to listen to them all three in a row. Then we get this one, which is Faiq de Oyad Owid. This one's actually really interesting because it's an interlude, but it's in a fake language called like Enochian, something like that. And it, I don't remember what it's like, what it means, but the actual track is a phone call from an Area 51 employee that says, like, they've gotten out. I'm about to die. So it's really creepy. It's actually like a really cool way to end the album because it's like mystery and mystique, and it doesn't really end on the same sort of feeling that Third Eye did. It ends on more like a disgustipating type of like luminous sort of like, oh, that's the end? Okay. Or like, ooh, that's the end. It's kind of it's different. All right, two albums left. We're gonna run through this. Vicarious. Oh wait, this album is called 10,000 Days. It was released in 2006. Okay. The story behind this album is Maynard, the singer. His mom's name is Marie, and I think it's about basically her and how much he misses his mom and stuff. And this song feels very much like the downfall of a person. When I say this song or this album feels like the downfall of a person and their spiral into chaos. And it's a really touching album, and it really hits you right to the core. I feel like the most people can associate with this album of any of their albums. So gonna have 2 rows for S tier, maybe three. No, it won't be three. This song, really good opening for this album. Starts with a bunch of like bell percussion, and then it just hits you with that verse. And once you hear that verse and you hear that production, oh, it's so good, man. It's up in your face. It's not set way back. It's not as like psychedelic and ambient sounding. It's much more heavy, like metal that's like supposed to be, I guess, more up in your face. So, yes, this is my favorite of their albums and one of my favorite of their songs. My favorite of their songs is Zombie, and I'm just going to talk about them both here. So, Vicarious is about living through the news. That's where you get your information is from the news. And so you end up hating the world because of what you see on the news. You live vicariously until you die, which is like basically saying don't live like that. Like that's you're not living correctly. You're not getting your news from a good source, and you're unhappy because of it. Vicariously, I live while the whole world dies. But in reality, you're the one who's slowly dying because all you do is see the bad stuff in the world. So it's more like a realization of you're ruining your life and also a, well, shoot, I kind of like doing this now. It's kind of fun seeing people die. Like, yeah, that's hard to hear, but anyway, John B. I don't actually know the theme too much behind this one, but I want to say it's either talking about a place that's like in the jungle or a person. Um, but this is probably my favorite Tool song. I would have to say it's probably my favorite. Definitely the one I've listened to the most on Spotify. These are both in like weird time signatures. Uh, they're both very heavy again, like, super super heavy production in your face. It's pretty simple production, just a lot of distortion. It's turned up, but man, it's so heavy, man. The guitars are so heavy. The drums are so much more up in your face. Hmm. All right, let's get on to this part here. So these are two pretty sad songs. You're supposed to listen to this one after this. It's about Maynard's mom and how he misses her and stuff. But it's kind of it's a big jump or I guess fall in like dynamics. These are both very, very mellow sort of songs, especially this one. This one has like a build up near the end. It's a bit longer, like 10 minutes long. This one's only like 5. But very, very different sounding than these two. And it kind of, in a way, sets a tone for the album. I don't think it does it quite as much as these two do, but these guys have their fans. the pot. Mm, super heavy hitting. You can imagine what this is about. Um, super duper heavy hitting, super super catchy, groovy riff, really heavy. Yeah, like not much else to say. It's pretty short. It's like 6 minutes. The vocal, man, Maynard is just kills it on this. I think this might be his most dynamic song. It's just so crazy how he goes from falsetto to chest up to freaking screams. It's so good, so good, so good. Lippin Conjuring, really really cool. It's like a campfire chant. And that's about it. I mean, it's a silly song. Lost Keys Blame Hoffman. So I don't know what the Blame Hoffman part is about, but I'm not gonna put this one in the interludes because it's a little bit different. Um, it's about a guy who is being rushed into the hospital, into the ER, because they think that he's like possessed, and the doctor is basically saying, yeah, he's okay. He's like messed up and just needs to talk to somebody. So the doctor's like, tell me everything. And then Rosetta Stone, he confesses that he met aliens and was abducted. And yeah, yeah, I do think this one is probably the best for lyrics. This is my second favorite Tool. So incredibly heavy, but so like consistent in like the sections. It never lets up in energy the entire song. It is like crazy how quickly the song goes by because of just how energetic it is. 11 minutes is how long it is. It just flies by. Man, this is one that you have to listen to. If I were to recommend any Tool song, anybody, it would be Rosetta Stone. It is just a journey. It's so so good. The lyrics are so good. I mean, the fact that this song just exists. We are so lucky that this song just exists. It's the fact that someone made this song. It's so good. It's so good. Like, how can humans make a song this good? I do not understand. I will never be a Tool. I will never be a member of Tool. Oh my goodness. I mean, you could just read the lyrics and write a paper on it. Like, that's how just insane this song is. Mm. Intention, I'll put in D. It's mid. Again, this is one that's very similar to Undertow, as in, like, it's one that I skip. Uh, it's got some cool sounds on it. It's got some cool, like, electronic percussion, but that's about it. And then, yeah, this is like the big song, the big energy song, and this is the wind down. Uh, and honestly, if I ever listen to it directly after listening to Rosetta Stone, I honestly just kind of like forget that I'm listening to it because I'm still so engraved in the sound of this song that this one just kind of, you know what I mean? I just kind of pass it by. I don't really pay attention to it. It's weird. It's the only one that I do it with. I don't do it with Eon Blue Apocalypse. I don't do it with Disposition. I only do it with intention. Like I just completely like don't pay attention to the song when I'm listening to it. It's not really there's no hooks to it. The percussion is kind of hard to follow. Um, I don't know. Not a big fan of this one. It's okay, but it's not. Again, if you were to put this in a put this in a tier list of all songs ever made, this would be an S tier, but it's not. This is all the Tool songs, just a range of Tool songs. This one's like the worst one, fortunately. Right into mm, monkeys fighting monkeys over pieces of the ground. That right there is an S tier lyric. Monkeys killing monkeys, sorry. Absolutely amazing song. Psychedelic E percussion. And funny enough, now that I think about it, they didn't really make a song about like the stoned ape theory. Like if you know anything about that, like that an ape found like ayahuasca and that's how he evolved to become a human. I mean, hey, it's a cool topic. But yeah, this one basically dwindles down to humans are just monkeys fighting over pieces of the ground. So it's just belittling us to animals. I mean, yeah, it's like amazing theme. Viginti Trace, which I think it just means like 23. You know what? I'm gonna put this in interludes. It's Latin for 23, but I don't really know anything else really about it. I always kind of skip it. It's kind of the vocals are really hard to hear. It's really muffled. Like there's a lot of electronic sounds happening, a lot of ambience. It's just hard to follow. Um, it's like 5 minutes of just ambient sounds. Apparently, there is a way where you can like sync it up with Wings for Marie, and it'll, I don't know, there something matches there. I don't know. I'm not too concerned about this track. All right, the final album, and then the final single here. All right, Fear Inoculum, released in 2019. My favorite album to ever exist. Unpinned images. What? I don't know what I just did. My favorite album to ever exist. Okay, the opening track. You are going to hate me, but I'm putting it in A. So it was the opening single, and honestly, after years of listening to this album, it's not my favorite production wise, but it's it's obviously new because it's heavy, but with that very ambient production. And on vinyl, this album is the best, which I actually listened to earlier this year. It was amazing. But this song is a lot of fun. It's 10 minutes long. I mean, every single like main song on this album is 10 minutes. But I don't know. This one I think is my least favorite of the ones. It's fine. It's not bad. It's not bad whatsoever, actually. It's really complex, but it's my least favorite of the new ones. That's not a bad thing. Numa. Oh my goodness. I have watched the drum cam of Danny Carey playing this song as many times as I could count. I mean, I've watched it like at least 100 times all the way through in my life. Man, it's just so good. It's going for that math rock-y sort of approach to like the time signatures, where it's just they change like one note in a riff, doo 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 doo, stuff like that. I'm getting called on Skype and I'm not answering. Anyway, they do that a lot on this song and on this song too. They like kind of like change one thing and like just a straight what do they call that? A drone where it's like one thing that just repeats over and over and over. They change it up just a little bit and they keep it interesting. And that's why there's a reason why the song is like the biggest hit on this new album. It's got so many cool sections. It's really heavy in some parts, and it's got that middle part where Danny Carey's like doing the crazy polyrhythms, and it's just like so much, so good. All right, Litany. I just glitched. Litany contra Lepore. Oh, no, which stands for Litany of Evil, I think, and it's supposed to mean like a church song, like a church melody to weave away demons. And it's kind of cool if you think about it like that. When you listen to it, it's auto tune effect with an ambient echo, and that's all it is. There's no instruments really besides the voice, which is, I believe, the best instrument to ever be. Is the voice. And Maynard is literally just singing random notes and making a cool little melody. It's so silly. I love it. This is like a really fun little interlude. All right, Invincible. How are we doing on time? On an hour and a half. Okay, we're gonna close this in like an hour 45. Invincible has that 7 against 3 polyrhythm. Goes throughout the song. Pretty cool. Really, really heavy. Really, really driving sort of riff. It's got some mystique to it, but it's not too ambient and psychedelic-y. It's still pretty heavy. This feels more like progressive metal. Like it's more focused on like song structure and like notes and feeling, I guess. But it works. It works, man. This song is amazing. This song is incredible. I almost said invincible. The song is just blows me away every single time I listen to it. It's got that really cool riff after the build up, which is a polyrhythm in itself. Like, what? How do you get away with that? How are you that creative as a band? Good lord. They went all out on this album, man. It's crazy. Okay. Legion Inoculant. This one is a lot more electronica, Then this one, it's got a little bit of like electronic percussion going on. It's almost like a radio broadcast, kind of that muffled sort of sound. And I don't know exactly what they're getting at with this one. I should have looked this one up too. I forgot. But excuse me, but pretty cool sound, and it's kind of a cool way to go into descending here, which I'm gonna put in A tier. Um, this one is also amazing. It's just a tier down. I mean, it really is just a tier down from those other two. Fits right here with Farinoculum. It's got like a 3 minute intro where it's just like wind. It doesn't quite pay off in the same way that Invincible does, even though it has the same sort of build up once all the instruments start. And it's about a person descending into madness, which I think is a cool concept. It's about a person who was like a warrior who's descending into madness, realizing that he's not a god, and he becomes like a he becomes like a villain. It's like a villain backstory. Just cool. I just don't think the music that goes with it is all that. I think it is the my least favorite of the main tracks on this album. It has a really, really cool ending though when it's building up. Dun, 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 and it gets like progressively faster. It's got the wheel, like sort of the coil sound effect. I love that part. Calling voices. This one's so cool. This one reminds me a lot of Disposition and Parabol, where it's like mostly just vocals. But this one, it has like the rest of like the track added on to it. It's kind of like a Parabol plus Parabola thing. Um, the riff to it is amazing. Don't you dare point that at. I had that note. Anyway, the opening is like this really cool, clean guitar. I can't tell exactly what effect they have on the guitar unless it's just not plugged in, but it's got that really, really soft staccato guitar with very, very light percussion, electronic percussion, and then on top of that is a drum guitar line. It's like dee 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 dee, and then it just moves every few notes, goes down like a half step and stuff. It's dissonant, it's cool, it's mysterious. There's a lot of times when there are chords that are completely dissonant, and it's just such a cool sound. And it kind of feels like a callback to Litany Contra Lapoire, 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 I don't know, where it's like a where it's like a hymn. It's got that sort of sound and feel to it. Where he kind of just aims on one note and glides around it. It's really well done. I mean, it's so good. Chocolate Chip Trip. This is the only track that I'm not putting as an interlude that's not 10 minutes. I mean, I feel like I just have to put it in B, right? It's a drum solo. What else can you say? It's a drum solo, bro. With some like cool electronic sounds back. Every time I listen to it, I just get more impressed with like techniques that I hear, like little nuances, little symbols, little rudiments he does. It's so good. Uh, all right. Here is my third favorite Tool song, and the last real big one that's on this album, Tempest or Seven Tempest. I could go on for another hour just talking about this song and how amazing it is. It's the most complex Tool song that they've ever released. Fight me. It has the best build up. It has the best. Shoot, this might actually be my favorite. Tempest, then Rosetta Stone, then John, and then Lateralis at fourth. But man, this is so good. I cannot talk about this enough. Just absolutely amazing. The time signature changes, the energy changes, the way they go into that crazy gent section where he's playing on a China cymbal and playing syncopated notes on his bass drum. Like it's so crazy, so crazy. You 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 know Tool would make something crazy like this. Like man, I still listen to it and get like goosebumps of how insane it is. Okay, Mocking Beat, the final track on this album. It's basically just jungle noises, and apparently it also has sounds of like shrieking and like dying birds, and it's because humans are destroying the jungle. Again, I don't really know like the theme all that well with this album, but I want to say it's just like humanity's flaws. I don't know. I don't really know the theme. It's kind of like up to interpretation. You got to think about the fact that it was 13 years between 10,000 Days and Fear Inoculum. 13 years. So, no. And it's not like they did nothing for 13 years. They went on tours. But, man, yeah. We're already getting on our way to the next album. There'll be another 13 years. All right. And the last track that we have to rank here is Opiate Squared or 2. I don't know. On the official Spotify, it's Opiate Squared, but I digress. It is a brand new flesh and blood version of this track right here. So you have to listen to this one first before you listen to this one. And in fact, I would recommend you listen to their entire freaking catalog before you listen to this one because it kind of is an evolution of their sound. And it's amazing. It's great. Actually, yeah, it's great. It, yeah. We're done. Do I want to rank the tiers themselves? I think we should just do it real quick. All right. Tempest, number one. Rosetta Stone, number two. John B, number three. Lateralis, number four. The Grudge, put Vicarious there. Do 46 and 2. And then we'll do Invincible. And then Sober. And then Stinkfist is fine where it's at. And then we'll do The Patient. Push It's fine. I think I'll do Parabola. And then I'll do Numa. And then Anima is fine. Third Eye is fine. Schism's fine. I think I'll move Opiate Squared up to here. And then A tier. I think I'll do Eulogy up front. I'll do Flood next, then Prison Sex. Then I'll do Ticks and Leeches. And then do Jimmy above Hooker. 10,000 Days. Yeah, that's fine. No, if you're not good with that. Alright, B tier. I think I'll do Intolerance first, and then Reflection, then Disposition. Part of me, oh, Opiate, then part of me, then I might just keep it right here. No, I'll move Swamp Song, the Bow, Jerk Off, Order Goose, Bow, Jerk Off. Oh, and H. Alright, that's good. And then C tier, Always the Best, then Lost Keys, then Parabol. And then D tier, the best one's Undertow, Tension. No, Tension's last. And then the interludes. I can actually rank the interludes. Okay, so Disgustipated is the worst. Vacanty Tress is second worst. Useful Idiot is third worst. It's literally just radio sounds. And then I guess I'll do Cesaro Some Ability next. And then Mantra. Then Mocking Beat. Yeah, that's fine. And then I'll do Message to Harry Manback. Come on, bro. Listening. Fight. Fight. We'll move back. Intermission will move back. Dire on State back. Ions will lift it back just one. Yeah, I think I think that's our lot. I think that's our lot, y'all. Is that looking good, y'all? I think so. Yeah. Okay. So it's done. We did it. Finally. All right. Yeah. Okay. So that was fun. My voice is a wreck. Hmm. I'm tired now. But thank you all for watching and sticking in there with me. Um, I hope that was fun and enjoyable and educational and everything. And I finally did it, so I don't have to do it again. So yeah, thank you all for watching. This was this was fun. Okay, one more little look at the list for y'all. S tier: Tempest, Rosetta Stone, John B, Lateralis, The Grudge, Vicarious, 46 and 2, Invincible, Sober, Saint Patient, Push It, Parabola, Numa, Anima, Third Eye, Schism, Five, Opiate Squared, right into Calling Voices. A tier: Eulogy, Bottom, Prison Sex, Ticks and Leeches, Blood, Jimmy, Liquor with Penis, Fear Not 10,000 Days, Descending. A tier: Intolerance, Reflection, Disposition, Opiate, Part of Me, Swamp Song, 4 Degrees, Age, Jerk Off, Triad, Wings for Marie, Chocolate Chip Trip. C tier: Crawl Away, Lost Keys, Parabol, Sweat, Hush. D tier: Undertow, Cold and Ugly, Tension. Then the rest of these They're kind of interchangeable. All right, that wraps it up. Let me know what other ones I should do, and yeah, I will catch you on the flip side. That was fun. It was a lot of fun. And it was my first stream using Streamlabs in like a long time. So, yeah. Alright. I'm out of here. Thank y'all for watching.